already found a buyer," Robert said. "The apartment is practically sold." Emily stared at him across the dinner table. For several seconds, she didn't speak. Then she slowly put down her fork. "You did what?" What Robert thought would be the happiest announcement of his retirement became the biggest argument of their 33-year marriage. Robert was 59. 6 months earlier, he had retired after decades of work. At first, he enjoyed the freedom. No alarm clock, no deadlines, no meetings. But after a while, something unexpected happened. The excitement faded. Every morning felt exactly the same. And the dream he had carried for most of his adult life returned stronger than ever. A small house by a lake. Fishing at sunrise. Coffee on a quiet porch. No traffic, no noise, no schedules. For years he talked about it as something distant, something for someday. Now someday had arrived. Emily was 57 and saw things very differently. She liked their neighborhood. She knew the local stores. She had friends she met every week. She volunteered at the library twice a month. She enjoyed walking familiar streets and recognizing familiar faces. To her, the apartment wasn't just a place to live. It was her life. And now Robert had casually announced that he had already spoken to a buyer. Without telling her. Without asking her. Without even discussing it first. The silence in the room became heavy. Finally, Emily spoke. "You were planning our future without me." Robert immediately shook his head. "That's not what happened." "Then what happened?" He struggled to answer, because deep down he knew she was right. For months he had been researching properties, calling agents, comparing prices, making plans, all while avoiding a real conversation. Not because he wanted to hurt her, because he was afraid she would say no. And she just had. Emily stood and walked toward the window. "Do you understand what you're asking me to give up?" Robert followed her. "I'm asking you to start a new chapter." She laughed bitterly. "No, you're asking me to leave my chapter and enter yours." That sentence stayed with him because it felt true. The argument continued late into the evening. At first, they argued about the apartment, then about money, then about the lake house. But eventually, both realized those weren't the real issues. The real issues had been hiding underneath. Emily crossed her arms. "Why is this so important to you?" Robert looked away. For the first time, he didn't answer immediately. Finally, he sat down. His voice was quieter now. "Because I'm scared." Emily blinked. That wasn't what she expected. Robert stared at the floor. "I spent almost 40 years working." He paused. and suddenly I realized something. Emily waited. I might not have as much time left as I think. The room became silent. Robert rarely spoke about emotions, especially fear. Every year goes faster now, he continued, and I keep thinking, what if I spend the rest of my life doing the same things I've always done? Emily listened carefully. What if I die without ever living the life I dreamed about? There it was. Not a real estate decision. Not a retirement project. A fear. A deep fear. The fear that life was running out. Emily sat down across from him. For a moment, neither spoke. Then she quietly said, "And do you know what I'm scared of?" Robert looked up. What? Emily took a slow breath. That if we move there, I'll disappear. Now it was Robert's turn to listen. What do you mean? Emily leaned back. You see a dream. She pointed toward him. Fishing. The lake. The porch. The quiet. Then she pointed to herself. I see isolation. Robert frowned. Emily continued. Your dream has a place for you. She paused. I'm not sure it has a place for me. Those words landed heavily, because Robert had imagined their future many times, but mostly from his perspective. He imagined fishing, walking near the water, watching sunsets. He never stopped to ask what Emily would actually do there. The next day, neither mentioned the subject, nor the day after that. But the tension remained. Three days later, Emily found a folder on Robert's desk. Inside were photographs of the lake house, mortgage calculations, moving estimates, even a rough timeline. Everything was organized. Everything except her role in it. That night, the conversation resumed. This time, more calmly. Emily placed the folder on the table. You planned every detail. Robert nodded. Almost. Exactly. She looked at him. You planned the house. Another pause. You forgot to plan me. For the rest of the evening, neither of them spoke much. Both were thinking about the same thing. Not the house, not the lake, the years behind them. The next morning, Emily met her friends for coffee. When she returned, Robert was sitting at the kitchen table. She put down her purse and asked a question that caught him completely off guard. When was the last time you asked me what I wanted? Robert opened his mouth, then stopped. He honestly couldn't remember. Not because he didn't care, because somewhere over the years, they had fallen into routines. He made plans. She adapted. At least that was how he always saw it. Emily sat down. You know what's strange? Robert shook his head. I never hated the lake. That surprised him. You didn't? No. She looked at him. I hated feeling like my life had already been decided without me. Robert felt a sting of guilt, because that was exactly what he had done. Not intentionally, but still. Emily continued. For years, you handled every big decision. Maybe you thought you were helping, but sometimes it felt like I was just expected to follow. Robert didn't argue. For the first time, he wondered how many times Emily had agreed simply because she was tired of fighting. Later that evening, he found an old photo album. As he turned the pages, one photograph caught his attention. A picture of him and Emily sitting on a dock beside a lake nearly 20 years earlier. Young enough to think time was endless. When Emily walked into the room, she smiled. You kept that one? Robert nodded. Then he said something unexpected. I think I was chasing the wrong dream. Emily sat beside him. What do you mean? Robert looked at the photograph. I thought my dream was the lake. He paused. Maybe my real dream was feeling the way we felt when this picture was taken. For a moment, neither spoke, because both understood. The lake had never been the whole dream. The dream was peace, connection, freedom. And those things couldn't be created simply by moving somewhere else. The following week, something unexpected happened. Robert drove alone to see the lake house again. He walked through every room. The property was beautiful. The view was exactly as he imagined. Yet something felt wrong. The more he looked around, the more he realized he wasn't imagining Emily there. Not because she refused, because he never truly considered what she might need. The dream had become so personal that she had become a visitor inside it. That realization stayed with him all the way home. That evening, he surprised her. Come with me tomorrow. Emily hesitated. Why? Because I want you to see it. After a long pause, she agreed. The next morning, they drove to the lake together. The trip was quiet. When they arrived, Emily walked through the house slowly. She looked at the lake, the porch, the trees, the peaceful shoreline. She admitted it was beautiful, but Robert could still see uncertainty in her eyes. Then she entered a small room near the back of the house. It wasn't large, just enough space for a desk, bookshelves, and a chair. Emily stood there for a while. An idea began forming. Later, they sat outside, overlooking the water. The conversation that followed changed everything. I don't want to stop you from having your dream, Emily said. Robert looked surprised. You don't? She shook her head. No. Then she added, but I don't want to disappear inside it. Robert nodded slowly. For once, he fully understood. Emily looked toward the small room, then back at him. If we do this, I want something that's mine. Robert listened. My own room. He smiled slightly. That's all? Emily shook her head. Not quite. A faint smile appeared on her face. My own key. Robert laughed softly. A key? Yes. She didn't laugh. A room that's mine. No storage boxes. No turning it into something else later. Robert finally understood what she was really asking for. Not a room. Independence, identity. Proof that she would still have a life of her own. He looked around the property again, then nodded. Deal. Emily studied him carefully. You're serious? Completely serious. For the first time since the argument began, both smiled. A month later, the apartment wasn't sold. The buyer moved on. Surprisingly, Robert no longer cared. The original plan had changed. Instead of replacing one life with another, they built something new. They kept the apartment, and they bought the lake house, not as an escape, not as a sacrifice, as a second chapter they could shape together. Robert got his mornings by the water. Emily got her room, her key, and the freedom to decide how much time she spent there. Months later, sitting on the porch one evening, Robert looked at Emily and smiled. You know, this isn't exactly how I imagined it. Emily smiled back. Me neither. Robert looked at the lake, then at his wife, and realized something important. The dream wasn't smaller because he made room for her. It was better because now it belonged to both of them. And maybe that's what people learn after enough years together. A real compromise isn't giving up your dream for someone you love. It's finding a way to invite them into that dream without asking them to stop being themselves. Would you have made the same compromise? Let me know in the comments.